Hi, everyone, and welcome to the virtual world. My name is Keren Kenzi. Amit already introduced me, so I'm going to save us some time. And today I'm going to introduce you to A-Frame. A-Frame is a web framework that allows you to build virtual reality experience. It works with WebXR if you need to add some VR asset. But unfortunately, I don't have the Oculus or any VR headset, so I'm going to show you today how you can create a simple game in your own browser. No need for a headset, no need for Oculus, no need for Microsoft Mixed Reality, nothing like that. And to get started, sorry, it's a bit of a preview, we only need to have an HTML file and to add a script. Let me just increase it. That's the way. Everybody sees the font? Okay, so we don't need any installation, just add a script to the head of your HTML file, run it, and you are good to go. You can see here, that's the way it looks in the browser. You can see that we have already connected to the VR environment because we have this icon over here that allows you to enter your headset. And when we want to develop a game, what we need to do is basically to create a scene. A scene will all the entities in our own world, and inside the scene, we append children in order to add some entity, some object to our virtual world. And I'm going to show you how you add an entity to the world. Now, entity by itself doesn't have any functionality, any appearance, nothing. Think of it as an empty div. If you want to add some functionality, behavior, etc., what you need to add is to add components to your entity. Think of component as an HTML attributes that add those functionality. For example, I can add geometry to my entity. For example, let's say primitive box. And let's add a position as well. Now, in the 3D world, live demo, not what I intended to do. So in the 3D world, we have 3 dimensions. We have the X, the Y, and the Z. So if we have this Super Mario model, and we look at it like this is the X axis, the Y, and the Z. The Z is towards us, so if we want to see this object in front of us, we need to give it a negative Z index. So let's add a position for our box. Let's say we want to add it at 0 with Y for 2 and negative Z index. And let's see, we have a box over here, which is really cool. Now, an A-frame adds some primitive. So it's easier for newcomers to get started. So instead of writing entity, adding geometry, adding material and stuff like that, we have a syntactic sugar for adding a box. And we just need to add a box. And basically it will do the same. Just let's copy the position. Let's give it a different position so we will see the difference between the two boxes. And one doesn't work, what I've forgotten. Okay, position. Okay, so we see here a box. And if we want to inspect the elements, just like we have our DevTools, we can click on Control Option I, and it will open the inspect element. Now, by default, the box is white. That's why we haven't seen anything. So we can give it additional component named color and set it, for example, to red. And now that we go back to our scene, we can see a red box, which is really cool. So I'm so sorry about the white string. If you want to make it disappear, we can use a community component. In order to add community component, which are components that were developed by the community and share, we need to add scripts to the head. Just a second, like this. So if I had this script to this head, I can use a community component named A-Frame Environment, which comes with different kind of preset for the environment. I will soon show you how it looks like. Let's remove the box, we don't need it anymore. And let's use environment and add a preset of, let's say we want to develop a game in the forest environment. So we have preset, forest. Let's hope it will work. And ta-da, with just a simple 2 elements, we have a virtual world, which is really, really cool. And we can add elements on top of those, on top of it. So if we're talking about a game development, we need to add a camera. Camera is the way that the user view the world. So we have also element for this. And usually inside of the camera, we put our cursor to allow for user interaction. So let's add cursor. Let's see if it works. You can see here the ring of the cursor. That's a way we are allowed to interact with the scene, to add mouse click, to listen to a mouse click event, and more. Now, if we want to see some elements, no matter where we look at the screen, we need to add it as a child component to our camera. For example, if I want to always see the score that I have or the life I have left in the game, what I need to do is to add a text component inside of the camera. That way, no matter where I look, no matter where I move my head or the mouse, I will be able to see the score. So let's add another primitive called a text, and we can set a position as well. Let's say it will be relative to the camera position, and we can set a value just to see that it works. And we have here the score, so no matter where I look, the score is kept on display, which is really good for game development. Now, the scene is a bit empty. If I want to add, for example, 3D elements, 3D models to our scene, I can go to Sketchfab or something like that and download a 3D model, which I can use and append to the scene. In order to do that, what we need to do is to use the assets. The preferred way is to use the asset management system, which preloads every entity that I use, whether it's every asset that I use, whether it's a video, audio, model, etc., to the scene before the scene is loaded. So I will need to go over here, use the following element without the typo. And inside the asset, for example, I can add an asset item. And I've already pre-downloaded some models I want to show you and add to the screen. As you can see here, I've already pre-downloaded, for example, pipe. So I can add a pipe to the screen. This is the URL for the file. I can give it an ID. And now I can reference this with an entity like this. And I can link it to this based on this ID. So I have this pipe model. Hopefully it will work. I need to give it a position as well. Let's give it. You're right. I'm just checking if you're paying attention to the. And it doesn't show. Wait a second. It's not SCR, sorry, my mistake. It's a GLTF model. Now it should work. Okay, so we have this pipe. We can scale it, of course, to be in the correct order. We can add more component by appending either dynamically more pipes and so on, or by adding more entities in the HTML. And for the game, what we want to do here is to collect coins. You probably guessed the themes of Super Mario. So what I want to do here is go, I've already pre-created a JavaScript file named game. So let's go and open it. And basically, I can use the DOM API. For example, let's grab the scene so we can append the entities to it. Let's increase the size, something. Opa. Document, and use query selector. And we can grab our scene like that. So you can see it's a basic JavaScript DOM API thing that we can use, and it's really, really simple. And now if I want to, for example, add coins, I can do, for example, for the sake of simplicity, I will add only 3 coins. And now what I want to do here is basically add a for loop over the coins num. And what I want to do here is basically create a coin clone. And I'm going to use the document create element API, give it a entity. And now what I want to do is to set the coins attributes, which will set the component's value. I can set, for example, the position. For example, let's say we want to add a position based on the index. Let's say we want to add it like this, not a U, an I. And let's say we want to add it on this and like this. I will also want to change the scale, so I can set another attribute, another component. And eventually I want to append this coin to the scene, so I will grab the scene and append child. Of course I need to add the model, sorry for that. So let's add the model itself, otherwise we won't see anything. No object, no anything. Let's see if it works. No, let's see if it adds it. Let's inspect it. Those are the entities. I don't see it yet. And let's give it a scale. We have the position. Of course, live coding, so nothing works. Let's do it like this. Maybe like this. No. Too bad in live coding that nothing works. Okay, you're right. So let's remove the pipe. Thanks, Michal. Let's remove the pipe model just to see that it works. No, it's not inside a pipe. So, it's just tiny, so tiny that it's over here. Let's increase it a bit. Oh, sorry. I opened the snippet, so it's not the... Wait a second. Just a second. Live coding, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Okay. So we have this coin over here. We can increase it. And we can also add event listener once we click on the coin. So let's add coin event listener, just like we do with the regular API, regular web development. And on mouse down, what we want to do here is to increase our score and display it. So what we want to do here is to grab the text, just like we grab the scene. Let's make sure I gave an ID to the text. Let's give it an ID. Score. Now let's move back to the game. No. Need to close this. Okay. So this is the score. And now we have the score entity. And what we want to do here... Anima? Okay. So our time is up. It's been... So we can set the text attributes, for example, value to be score plus plus. And that's why we build... That's the way we can increase the font size. Unfortunately, the time is up. But as you can see, it's very simple to build a simple game in WebEx A-frame. We can collect coins. We can add event listener. Once we click on this and we won, it's very easy. I wanted to show you how you can get your princess. But It's very, very simple to get started and build your own virtual reality game. And hopefully one of you will win the Oculus or something like that and can give it a try with a real controller. And I hope I inspire you to check it out and create something, some game. And thank you very much.